stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
And welcome inside Service Place. It's game number 3 of the first round of the North semifinals. The Crude and the Outlaws. The Outlaws taking game 1, the Crude answering back in game 2, and that's taken us to a deciding game number 3. Officials for tonight's game: Sean Reed, Tony Reed, Wes Kendall, and your man in the box will be Kevin Kohut. Starting goaltenders for the Crude: number 35, Will Horn, gets the call, and down in the other end, it'll be 00, Danny Willis. The winner of this game will make their way and punch their ticket into the provincials. Of course, they'll meet the Rebels in the North Final. The Rebels already hosting, so they're in, and that means that a second North team will gain a spot, and that's up for grabs here tonight as the Outlaws win the opening draw. Here's Wells. He swings it over to the far side as a moving pick is called, and the Crude are going to take over. 19:45 to go as we just open up this game number 3 in the opening period. Here's Ferretti. He'll walk it into the offensive zone and hand off to Fry. Fry having a strong playoff and a very strong end to his regular season as he sets the pick for Elliott. Ball swings over. Ballantyne mishandled it. He gathers it back. Now he feeds it to a wide open Stenson. Stenson tried to jam it through the 5-hole of Willis, and he turns it away, and here goes Gaudreau. He had that pop up out of his stick, but he sends it up to Keller, who turns out. Now he fakes like he's going to go back towards the net, and he'll eventually swing this over, and it's dropped by Aitken, who has to avoid the over and back, and he does so. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Aitken swings it into the stick of Noah Keller. Keller, an outside rip. That floats wide. Kind of had Horn leaning the wrong way there, but it just missed the target. Out of play, and the Crude will take over. I want to thank you for joining us here tonight on CROW LAX TV. We've had full coverage of this series, and we'll continue to have plenty of, as Tyson Smith found himself wide open in front of the net. And not quite converting there was the big man, and now Fodchuk with an off-balance shot, and it's picked back up. Well, it almost was picked back up by Smith, but it's going to be thrown up floor by the Outlaws, and getting a stick on that was Ballantyne to disrupt it. A little bit of uneven play here. It's going to turn back over into Crude possession, and Schultz will run away with it. The Outlaws getting their first ever playoff win in game 1 to go up in the series. In the first meeting ever in the playoffs between these two clubs. Pretty wild considering it's a 4-team division. Now Elliott rips one into the stick of Willis, who's going to look to outlet. I said 00. It looks like Willis is wearing 35 here for the Outlaws, and Ellis is going to bull his way up floor. Kai Ellis has some space now. He hits Wells. Wells down to the crease for Gaudreau, and making the save to the bottom corner was Horn. And he sends it up nicely to Reich, who tried to hit Fry off the bench. That goes into the goaltender. Willis, who sends a great pass up floor to Keller. Keller dangerous in transition. Will wait up. He hits Muir, who looks like he's playing offense, and I think that's a smart move by the Outlaws as Muir can rip the pill as he throws that one away just as I praise him, and the Crude are going to come away with it. Now, long, beautiful pass in transition, and Willis is able to make the save off of Bowie. As the Crude have an early 5-1 shot advantage. Here's Gaudreau over center. He hits Rossman, scored in game 1. Rossman swings it over to Jesse Porter, and the Outlaws need more from him if they're going to be successful here tonight. Lewis just sort of pushed one at the net and ripped it off the crossbar. No real wind up and didn't have a lot on it, but he caught Horn off guard. And that ball goes all the way down the floor. It's into the stick of Willis, who's going to send it up floor. Here's Richardson. Goes to Wells, who obviously came over in the trade early in the year from the Crude. Austin Wells has Hildebrand with him on the right side. Wells tied up and swings it into the stick of Lewis. Lewis mishandles it, and it goes into the corner where it's going to be battled for. Huckabee pushes him, and that's going to be an interference call. And initially they pointed the wrong way, but they will correct it. It's going to be Crude, or it's going to be outlaw ball. So Wells will start it back up. Wells to Hildebrand, who had a huge game number 1. Hildebrand mishandles it. Something he was doing quite a bit in game number 2. He's another guy that's going to have to step up for the Outlaws as a shot comes in. And back out to Hildebrand. Still 11 seconds on the shot clock. He tries to feed one in to the far crease, but that was not there. And it's transitioned out by the Crude. Nicapillo will gather it and send it to Fodchuk. The captain comes in on the left side. Fodchuk in to Ballantyne. Twister stopped by Willis. As a breakdown defensively there by the Outlaws. Let Ballantyne just slip right to the net. And now Gaudreau has the ball to the dotted. Jacob Gaudreau gets pushed out of harm's way at the last second. He tries to send it up to Muir. Mishandles it. He gathers it back. He gets it over to the right, or to the left side, and then the ball goes off of Gaudreau. He thought it was in, and it stayed out though, and the Crude will turn it back up floor. Dzwanka hands it to Stenson. Stenson now to Fodchuk. Fodchuk swings it to Bowie, now half wall for Elliott. Elliott marked there by Sutherland. Elliott steps back, and that hits some bar. There's been a few bars here in this game, now 1 each, as Walker sends it up floor. Hildebrand comes in to the rag line. He's going to step into one, and he pulls that wide. Ball bounces back over, and that will be the call, and the Crude will take over here. So Ballantyne out of the near corner. He's got Smith and Fodchuk with him on the left side. Ballantyne has Smith wide open here. He's going to flip it to him. Smith in front, and Willis with another big save as he's started this game much sharper than what we saw in game 2. And the Outlaws, Shelton has it now into the offensive zone. Outlaws, you're going to have to clean up some of those defensive breakdowns, as on that left side, guys have been rolling wide open into the middle of the floor right on top of the net. Wells has Muir with him. Now it's up to Hildebrand, who swings it over to the left side. Lewis with Aitken. Lewis, that shot up high and stopped by Horn. Lewis doesn't grab it, and now in transition goes Lemieux. Lemieux, and that ball almost trickles through Willis, but he keeps it out. As Muir is going to collect it inside his own crease. Here's Cook. He's got heavy pressure. Cook evades some checks, and he'll get it safely to Porter. 13:10 to go here, first period, still scoreless. Game number 3, series tied 1-1. Winner is off to the provincials and has a round number 2 date, and with the first marker of the game, it's Jesse Porter making his way across the crease and depositing it past Horn. And I told you off the top, he's a guy that has to step up. Hasn't had his best lacrosse in these first couple of games, and he makes his mark felt here early on. 1-0 Outlaws. And now back the other way. Willis makes another save here as he outlets to Gaudreau, who races up floor. And if you're the Outlaws, that's usually who you want to have the ball transitioning up for you, is Jacob Gaudreau, as a shot comes in from Hildebrand. The ball gets pushed right back out, and it's going to be possessed right back by the Outlaws. But they all change, and they're going to have to hurry as Rossman's left alone with Hildebrand in the offensive zone. Heavy hit by Ferretti on Rossman. And Rossman not liking that. He had some word for the officials, but no call forthcoming here. 12-17 now to go first period. The score says 1-1. It is 1-0, unless I'm mistaken here. It's 1-0, correct? Yeah, the board is just wrong inside the arena here. As the ball is brought up by Elliott. Fodchuk. That shot from the boards easily stopped by Willis, who lofts it up floor. And it's knocked down partially by the Outlaws. And now Porter's going to possess it. He hits Wells. Outlaws going to set up here. But Wells instead takes an early shot. Not one if you're the Outlaws coaching staff, you're going to love. And Schultz is going to bring it back into the offensive zone. Ballantyne to Fry. Bennett Fry to Ballantyne, to the dotted. He tucks it, and he lofts it into the midsection of Willis. As a long lead feed for Richardson, just missed his stick. He'll go and collect the loose ball in the near corner. As he hits Rossman, he's going to have to avoid some pressure here from Dzwanka. Rossman to the dotted, looking to move it. He hits Porter. Porter's going to step into one, and he rang bar. Hildebrand, rebound. Marcus Hildebrand, twister, and that bounces off the floor and out of play. 10:52 to go. Crude possession here, but that's going to be thrown away now by Nicapillo. So the Outlaws will take back over, and now they correct the score in the building. 1-0, the Outlaws lead here early on. 10:50 to go, first period. I want to thank you for joining us here on the channel, CROW LAX TV. Hit subscribe. You'll be notified every time a game goes live. And now an Outlaw fouled Ferretti as they had possession. And that's going to result in an undisciplined penalty and a Crude power play. So something you just can't afford in a game like this is going to result in the Crude going to the man advantage. Here's Fodchuk ripping it short side on Willis. Good stop there by the netminder, and Fodchuk collects the loose ball. Fodchuk skips it over to Fry up top to Elliott. Elliott back to Fry. He steps in, and he goes 5-hole on Willis to tie it up at 1. So Bennett Fry continues his hot streak, and he's evened it up at 1 here. As we approach the midway point of the opening frame, Hildebrand to the rag line. Hildebrand twister, stopped by Horn, and he's going to look to get it up floor quickly. Does a nice job to Reich, but Reich just misses the ball. And the Outlaws are not going to grab it either, and Elliott's going to say thank you very much off the window. You would like to see a little bit more urgency on some of these loose balls in a game like this, as that shot comes in high up off of the dome of Willis. Ballantyne to Elliott. Into the middle. Fry almost brought that in, but couldn't quite gather it as he was tumbling to the floor. Outlaws ball. Ball's handed from Cook to Wells. He jogs in past the rag line. Wells has Gaudreau. Gaudreau slips to the net. He's covered. Porter, left side now, back to Wells. Wells flips it back to Gaudreau, but it ends up with Aitken. Aitken, outside shot. Good stop there by Horn. And now Willis, who had that ball come up and smoke him in the head, is going to get some repairs on a helmet. And that'll take us to our first media timeout of the game, I want to remind you about Battle of the Border. Battle of the Border takes place in Missoula, Montana this September. Check out the North versus South box lacrosse game and tour the beautiful University of Montana or Montana campus. That is the Battle of the Border this September in Missoula, Montana. As the play comes back into function here, there's a call through the crease, and even though the ball ended up in the net, that gets waved out or waved off. And the Outlaws come back down. Here's Rossman to Porter. He has a pick set there by Lewis. Porter to the rag line, looking and surveying and weighing his options. That shot from Lewis goes through Horn and into the net, and the Outlaws have yet another lead here with 8:23 to go in the first. It's 2-1. So Lewis, after what was a bad penalty, comes back and scores and gets the lead back for the Outlaws. Polson is going to be momentarily stripped, but he doesn't grab it on the loose ball opportunity. Porter's going to pressure Ferretti behind the net. Keeping it loose is Ferretti, and he'll bat it. It almost went out of play. Luckily for him, it stayed in, but they're going to say the Crude had possession, and it'll be Outlaw ball on the 8-second count. Wells swings it. Lewis, tuck move to the dotted, and he scores. Kieran Lewis with back-to-back goals, and he has words for a Crude defender. I believe that's Ferretti, and he's got to be careful. That's not what you want to be doing. Could have easily been given a penalty there, but it looks like he'll survive that. It's 3-1. And head coach Terry Doken wanting a call on that, and I don't blame him. I agree with him. It should have been a unsportsmanlike, but none forthcoming here. And Rossman is going to get hacked like crazy here and turn it over. Dzwanka now has numbers. Dzwanka all the way to the net, and he scores from the wrong side of the floor. That was just too easy, and the Crude have narrowed the Outlaw lead back down to 1. So Dzwanka in transition has the answer after back-to-back Lewis goals as Polson swims his way into the middle. He lost it momentarily, he picks it back up, and he's gonna send it up high as the ball swings over to Lachlan Muir. Muir to the top, and that ball almost squeezed through Horn, but the loose ball is gonna go to the far corner where it's picked up by the Outlaws. Ball swings over to Ellis. Ellis, tuck move underneath. Ellis twister, stopped by Horn. Ball is going to bounce in behind the net where it's going to be collected by goaltender Horn and sent up to Reich. 6:45 to go first period. Outlaws with a 3-2 lead. Game number 3 of the North semifinal. Winner takes this series, moves on to face the Rebels in the final of the North Division, and books their ticket into the Larry Bishop as the second North representative being held in Fort Saskatchewan this year. That's going to be a moving pick, and the Outlaws will take over. As Willis sends a really high pass up floor, where it's grabbed by Keller, and he'll hand it to Wells. There's Austin Wells. Pressured there. And the ball turns over into the stick of Horn. Off the glass, he goes. Had Nicapillo up floor. It's picked off by Porter. Porter to Keller. Keller now to Lewis. Into the middle. Rossman wide open, doesn't get the ball. He's going to come around the net. Lewis still with it. Keller turns off a check. Gets it over to Wells. Wells, heavy pressure. Gets a pick there from Rossman. Wells bounces one way wide. That's going to be over and back, but Nicapillo is going to have a partial break here. William Nicapillo scores! Nicapillo allowed to go collect the loose change. Bad change by the Outlaws, 3-3. And off the draw, Polson's going to gather it in as he's pressured heavily. He rolls out of it and still needing to dish it. He'll carry it all the way to the far boards. Polson has Ellis wide open. Ellis dunked that over Horn, and I believe he hit the crossbar. And now transitioning out is Schultz. He's going to stop up and hand off to Fodchuk. Fodchuk skips in, twister into the pad on the short side of Willis. Sutherland collects and looks up floor. 3-3, 4:48 to go here as that ball is thrown away by the Outlaws. Some turnovers here in this opening frame by both teams as the Crude set up. Fodchuk looking to swing it. He hits Elliott. Elliott's good. All day just rip one, and Willis stands tall. Now Stashnik's got to beat a few Crude players up the floor and almost getting past traffic, but not quite. It's turned over by Fodchuk, and then he tried to one-hand it over to Elliott as he was falling, and the Outlaws are going to pick it back up. Here's Jacob Gaudreau steaming into the Crude zone to the dotted. Gaudreau is going to try to turn back out, and he's going to collect the loose ball. Hildebrand marked heavily to the net, and he tried to go 5-hole, stopped by Horn. And he'll move it up floor to Bilichuk. Bilichuk has Walker on him. Gets it up high to Fry. The Crude set up offensively. Now to the half wall, Elliott. A lot of room here to shoot this. He tried to feed it inside to Fry. Ball goes loose, and Keller is going to pick it up and get through a check from Ballantyne. Here's Keller. He's joined by Porter as the rest of the Outlaws offense comes onto the floor. Here's Austin Wells now with it. Swings it dangerously, but Porter grabs it and rips it down low on Horn. He makes another good save, and it looks like we've got a call coming up here. This time it'll be to the Crude. Ferretti to the box, and I believe it's a cross check. And here is the Outlaws power play getting the look now. Lewis down to Porter. Ball going around the perimeter, not much motion as of yet. Wells. Hildebrand has room, and he put that right into the chest of Horn. Ball's going to fall out of the back of Horn's stick, and needing to hurry here are the Crude to avoid the 8-second count. Dzwanka just gets over in time. He's going to be pinned here by Gaudreau. Gaudreau chases him now, as Dzwanka is going to hold on to this. Gaudreau remaining on him, and now Dzwanka is going to roll it into the zone, and it almost popped free to Stenson after it hit official Sean Reed, but the Outlaws able to grab it, and we'll turn it back up floor. 2 minutes to go now, first period. 1 minute remaining in the power play. 3-3 here from Service Place, game number 3. Winner moves on to face the Rebels in the North Final and punches their ticket to the Larry Bishop Provincial Tournament. Lewis, all day there over on the left side to rip that. Missed the target. It goes over the net, but now they're going to call back in. That's an important call because the Outlaws are going to get another full possession on this power play. Hildebrand up top, Wells. Now to Lewis, back up to Wells. Now they start to move. Seal set for Wells. He twists it on Horn. Stopped easily by the netminder, and the ball goes to the near boards where it's picked up by the Crude. Here's Reich. Deep into the Outlaws zone, all the way to the top of the net. And he was on his wrong side and missed the target. Here's Fodchuk now. He's going to try to go underneath. He gets cut off. Stiff check there by Porter. As the teams return to even strength here. Here's Fodchuk. He has Ballantyne wide open. He was so open, he was almost able to grab a loose ball that hit a stick. But the ball now bounces into the stick of Willis, and he's going to overthrow Keller at mid-floor. Just a few too many unforced turnovers here by the Outlaws right now as the Crude get back-to-back possessions. Fry is going to wait for some teammates to hit the floor. And the ball goes over to Ballantyne. Ballantyne hanging on to it, feeds it in front. Smith almost grabbed it. Ball goes to the far boards where Bowie scoops it up. Bowie has Fodchuk wide open and just unable to grab it as the shot clock was winding down. Walker up floor. Lewis, and great save by William Horn as he threw a big fake and tried to go to that far side, and Horn shut it off. Now back the other way come the Crude. Fry pressured heavily by Gaudreau. Fry holding on to his stick, could have been free hand. They don't get the call, and Stenson has it. Stenson swings it into the stick of Bowie, and that'll be stopped, and we'll end the first period with the score. The Beaumont Outlaws 3, the St. Albert Crude 3, game number 3 of the North semifinal. Again, the winner takes on the Rebels in the North final and punches their ticket into the Larry Bishop Memorial, the provincial tournament. That'll determine who represents Alberta at the Founders Cup this August in Calgary. After one, Outlaws 3, Crude 3. We'll be back with you in 10 minutes. And welcome back inside Service Place for game number 3 of the North semifinal. The series currently tied at 1s. The winner of this game will take it and move on to play the Rebels in the North final. But much more important than that is the winner of this game books their ticket into the provincials, the Larry Bishop Memorial, this August, on the August long weekend, as the second North team in, because the Rebels are the hosts. So this game taking on extra meaning, as this is going to decide whose season extends at least into early August. And we come back here on the draw as Huckabee is going to collect the loose ball off of the ground and send it over to Ferretti. Ferretti now hits Fry off the bench. Hard pick there, set by Elliott. He rolls to the net. Fry steps into one and misses the net on the pull shot to the short side. Ball bounces all the way back down into the Crude zone. It'll be over and back and Outlaw possession. Shots after the opening frame. Outlaws 20, Crude 19. Here's Lewis to Wells. As he looks into the middle with it, he's going to be doubled. He's got to move the ball here. Now he hits Hildebrand, but Hildebrand didn't bring it in. Crude ball. Bilichuk over center. He's going to try and get it to Fodchuk quickly out the gate, but good stick there by Shelton, knocked it down and went into the crease for Willis. He sent a bouncer up to Keller, couldn't corral that, and now the Crude are going to get possession. Seen a lot of that. Both teams throwing the ball away a lot, especially the Outlaws. And in these games, you can't afford it, as Elliott is going to come across the top and step into one. Willis challenging and making the save, and he's been better, much better on those outside looks compared to the first couple of games, particularly game 2. As Walker is going to defer to Aitken. Aitken and Porter off the left side. Swings it over to Muir. Muir underneath. Gets pushed by the net. He goes in behind it. Now Muir going to hold on to it and come back into the middle of the floor. Lachlan Muir, and his shot got soaked by a Crude defender. Back the other way come the Crude. Huckabee gets pushed forward, and he had some space there to take a shot. He gets it to Fodchuk, and Fodchuk will pull it out. Here's Fodchuk over to Fry. Fry fakes the pass and then bounced it wide on the short side. Bennett Fry now sends it over to Stenson from way out off the glass. Mishandled by an Outlaw, but now it will be picked up and transitioned by Booth. Josh Booth. Pressured. And he'll get the ball over to Aitken. Lewis and Aitken on this left side. Ball over now to Wells on the right. Bit of a seal by Hildebrand. That shot comes in. And it's picked up 3-on-1 here by the Crude. Dzwanka shoots it, and that's right into the gut of Willis. The Outlaws. Lewis gets it over center. The AP will get it over to the right side, and he'll change. Hildebrand with Rossman. Now Porter. Porter gets a pick from Aitken. Now Porter working his way around a Crude player. He flips it into Aitken. Aitken tried to jam it in the short side. Can't pick it up because he went through the crease. They'll call him for it, and Crude ball. Want to thank you for joining us here on the channel. It's game number 3 of the North semifinal. Once again, tied at 1, and the winner books their place into the Larry Bishop, and we'll move on to face the Rebels, the host of the Larry Bishop, in the North final. Another best-of-3 set that'll take place over the course of next week, as that shot, well, really this week, the end of this week, as Willis handles that. as he takes a bump from Fry. Could have been, they could have grawed him for that, but they elect not to as Lewis into the middle. Ball bounces to the boards. Wells. I think the first team to show some real urgency in this game is going to have a big advantage, as I don't feel either team is really seizing the moment right now. The ball bounces right back to Lewis. A reset, and he fakes a shot. Now he will take it right into the midsection of Horn, and the ball's going to bounce out yet again. Ball into the stick of Lewis off the glass. And he swings it over to Wells. Here's Austin Wells, pick set by Ellis. And now an Outlaw takes down Schultz. Looks like Lewis is going back to the box. It's his second offensive zone penalty, and he's got 2 goals in this game, but something he's got to cut out. So the Crude power play will set up here. Fry up top. Elliott, as he goes and skips it down to the crease. Fry was open in the middle, didn't bring the pass in. Elliott recollects off the boards. Liam Elliott, Fodchuk to the dotted, and he swung one right into the stick of Willis, who lofts it up floor. He's got Gaudreau. Can Gaudreau run it down? He's right on top of the crease, and now he's going to collect the loose ball. Couldn't quite bring it in time, but he's going to save a possession here for the Outlaws. Polson running around with it. The Outlaws are going to look to kill some time here. Now with some space, here's Aitken into the middle, and now he'll bounce back out. Here's Parker Aitken. Hildebrand. The Outlaws still with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Some heavy slashes here from Ferretti. Hildebrand gets a shot off, and Horn doing his best to hug the post there. 14:35 to go, second period, 3-3 the score. The Crude with 45 seconds remaining on this power. Elliott to Fodchuk. No look pass. Fry fakes it, takes it, and good save by Willis, who's got to get some help here to get this up floor in time. And he throws it nicely to Polson, who boxes his defender out and makes the grab. That's going to get rid of most of the remaining time on this penalty, as Polson and Porter are on this left side right now. Polson shoots it, and Horn just not paying attention. Gets caught on the short side, short-handed. That's a tough one, 4-3. So the Outlaws scoring short-handed here, and only 5 seconds remaining on the power play. We got a 4-3 game here. Outlaws in the lead as we approach the midway point of it. Here's Ballantyne. He's going to roll around in the corner and flip it back up for Fodchuk. He hits up, Bowie up high. Now Elliott is going to work his way to the dotted and flip that in on Willis. Easy stop for the goaltender, and quickly Willis is going to look to get it up the floor. And I got to give Danny Willis some credit here. I thought he's struggling in the first couple of games. He's played much better here in this third game in a time that the Outlaws really need it. And now we've got another call here. It looks like too many men, and I believe it's coming to the Outlaws. So the Outlaws continue to take some very, let's just say not very, just not great penalties. And we'll see if they're able to survive this one. Here's Fry up top. Fodchuk behind the back. Gets it back. Fodchuk, no look shot. Stop, and it's going to be picked back up by Ballantyne. Fodchuk skips it. Now there was another skip pass through the box, but Ballantyne is going to have to recollect it off the floor. Gaudreau all over him, and then Ballantyne tried to jump attempt from behind the net. They'll call him for being over the cylinder. Outlaws ball. Poulsen, who just got a shorthanded marker, has that knocked away. Wyatt Poulsen goes in, boxes out, and grabs another loose ball. And what a get that's been for the Outlaws, getting him down from A right at the deadline. Poulsen backs in, getting hacked, and he'll just roll that in the corner with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Probably could have held that a little longer, as Schultz had Porter kind of fall down in front of him, but he quickly got back up as he rolled off of him and back off the ground, back to his feet. 45 seconds remaining on the power here. Elliott's got it. He gets it over to Fodchuk, back to Elliott, who's now at the top. He skips it down to Stenson, and Bowie didn't bring it in. Bowie gets the loose ball, though, gets it back to Fry. Fry, off-balance shot, stopped by Willis. And the Outlaws don't pick it up. And Richardson looked like he thought the shot missed, and he was just batting it forward to keep the ball loose, but that's going to hurt them. They're going to get another, or they're going to give another possession to the Crude. Elliott, Stenson, back up to Elliott. Now Fodchuk steps into one, and Willis stops that. Elliott skips it. Stenson, quick stick, and good stop there by the goaltender, Willis. Another reset here. Elliott steps into one. Loose ball. Stenson goes in behind the net and goes to Bowie. Bowie out in front of the net, and Willis squeezes that one. So the Outlaws with another kill, and eventually that is going to kill them if they keep taking these undisciplined penalties. But they survived that one. As Wells has a pick set by Rossman. He sends it over to Lewis. Pair of goals in this game. Kieran Lewis. Now over to Wells. Austin Wells flips it into the middle. Rossman, and he got pinned by two defenders, and the ball still almost floated into the net, as he just got it in the direction of the net before he got fully contacted. And the Crude will survive that possession and bring it up floor. 10:25 to go, second period. Shots now reading 30-25. Crude, score reading 4-3 Outlaws. Game number 3 of the North semifinals. Winner going on to face the Rebels, and more importantly, punching their ticket into Larry Bishop. And that sharp angle shot is taken by Liam Elliott. Good box out there by Poulsen once again. He'll grab the loose ball, but he's going to have to get through some pressure. He powers his way through Elliott and gets it up floor. Here's Poulsen in transition. Wyatt Poulsen, and that ball just stays out as it rolled through the feet of Horn. And now a long lead pass to Ferretti. That goes high off, or up over the glass into the mesh, and the Outlaws will get the ball. Gaudreau doesn't know it's his ball here. Now I think he realizes it, and he's just going to pick it up and run. He was lining up like he was about to play defense there. And the Outlaws bring it up. Here's Aiken into the middle. Hildebrand, and right into the midsection of Horn. Ball's knocked loose. Nicapillo is going to have to grab it. He gets bumped very lightly, and Schultz comes in to help him, and he picks it up. Ball's handed to Fry. Crude get 5 men onto the floor. Fry down the wall. Flips it inside. Bowie scores! On the slip pick, just rolled through 2 defenders, and before making the pick, or making contact on the pick, turned around and went to the net and put it up high on Willis to tie it up 4-4. So once again, we find ourselves tied here with 9 minutes to go in the second period. I got to say, a pretty damn good crowd here on a Monday night for this deciding game. As I see some junior A minors in attendance. I see head coach John Lentz here, and that shot getting turned away. Big save by Willis. And some different people from the lacrosse community. And it's nice to see as we go down the stretch here. Trying to figure out who's going to get that first spot into the Larry Bishop aside from the Rebels. And now an outside take from Ballantyne goes wide. Bowie goes and picks up the loose ball. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Fry swings it over to Fodchuk. Fodchuk from a bad angle. Easily stopped by Horn. Ball up floor now. Sutherland's got some space. He's got numbers. High pass for Lewis. He misses it. And now back the other way. High feed for Fodchuk. Scores! Josh Fodchuk out of the gate. Up and high over Luke Willis to make it 5-4 Crude. So Crude grabbed the lead back here, and Schultz races in. And that all happened off of a bad pass up floor. There was a couple of Outlaws open. The ball was too high for Lewis, and it got sent the other way. And that turned into a Crude opportunity and a goal. And that's going to take us to our second media timeout of the game. I want to thank you for joining us here on CROW LAX TV. Hit subscribe. You'll be notified every time a game goes live as we go through the playoffs and into the Larry Bishop, the provincial tournament. And I also want to remind you about Battle of the Border. Battle of the Border takes place this September in Missoula, Montana. Go check out the North versus South box lacrosse game and tour the beautiful of University Montana campus. And while we have you here, I also want to remind you to hit that like button, get the algorithm pumped up, get these games out to more people, and allow them to enjoy some more free lacrosse. So we come out of the media timeout with Hildebrand bringing the ball up the floor. He's got Nick Apillo on him as he's checked heavily here by the blue line, and it's going to turn over, and Lemieux has got Nick Apillo with him, 2-on-1. Lemieux to the dotted, all the way to the net, and Lemieux stopped by Willis. Nice arm save there as the Crude. An opportunity to try to extend the lead right there. Turned away by the goaltender, Stashnik, back out. As he bowls his way through a couple of players, the ball goes loose, and it's picked up by the Outlaws. Here's Wells into the middle of the floor, just trying to flip that towards the net. And I believe they called an outlaw for reaching into the cylinder. Oh, no, I actually think there's a too many men call coming here. And I think it's to the Crude. But nobody's going to the box right now. We'll wait, and now we've got the call. So will be too many men, and the Outlaws are going to go to the power play. Here's Lewis with it, up to Wells. Hildebrand back up to Wells. Seal set. Wells steps around it, sends it to Lewis. That shot goes high and over the top of the net, and then Hildebrand with a shot got blocked by a Crude defender. Wells steps into one, misses the net far side, and Huckabee collects the loose ball. He tries to get that up to Menon, and the ball goes deep into the Outlaw zone and into the stick of Willis. 6:35 to go here, second period. Crude up 5-4. Outlaws on a power play. Porter back out the front gate. Jesse Porter. Kieran Lewis. Austin Wells. Hildebrand sets a cross seal. Lewis steps around that, misses the target. Ball right back out to Wells, who doesn't pick the ball up. And now the ball stays loose, and that'll be a shot clock violation. Crude ball. And the pill is going to be brought up by Ferretti. And he's going to hang on to this. Sutherland on him. Flip to Fry. 37 seconds on the power play here for the Outlaws. And they'll get one more possession on it as Fry flips that into the mesh and out of play. Polson hands it off. Lewis back out with Wells up top. Porter. Lewis. So Lewis has a couple of cross picks for him. Cross seals. Now Lewis underneath and push that way wide. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Wells tried to fire it to the far crease and it got picked off. And now numbers for the Crude. Nicapillo gets it back. Stopped by, well, it went over top of the net because they didn't reset the clock. And now Nicapillo is going to run back and collect again. As we dip underneath 5 minutes of this second period, Crude still up 5-4. Fodchuk flips it inside Ballantyne, stopped by Willis. And now the Outlaws have time and room to go. Booth up floor, not brought in by Cook. As that ball goes in behind the net, Gaudreau is going to have to hustle. And he almost picks it up and he's falling down and unable to maintain his feet. That means it's Crude ball here. Menon over center to Fry. Bennett Fry around a pick. Throws it over to Fodchuk. Fodchuk across the top on the run and stopped by Willis. Richardson into the corner. He comes away with it and he's got a man up floor. It's in behind Keller though, and it's another turnover by the Outlaws. Horn will get it up floor here. Lemieux floats it up to Bowie. Bowie steps into it. Midsection saved by Willis. And the next goal feels pretty important here with 3:43 to go in the middle frame. Kai Ellis to Aiken. He holds on to this for a while here. Picked by Jesse Porter. Now ball over to Muir on the run. Stopped by Horn. Rebound. And Rossman unable to pull it in. And he's called for being in the crease. Now Ferretti. Partial break. Stopped by Willis. And the ball goes to the far boards where Polson will grab it. He's hit by Ferretti, but survives it and comes up floor. Polson will stay and play some offense here with Lewis. Hildebrand into the middle, was open, didn't get the ball. Now Wells misplays the ball. Aitken down low. Hildebrand on the run, that missed the far side. Loose ball, Lewis. That shot goes wide as well and out of play, Crude ball. Nicapillo over center. He's pursued by Cook. He turns around and gets the ball up high where Reich resides. 2.5 to go, second period, 5-4, the Crude lead in game 3 of this North semifinal. Winner take all as Vodchuk tried to flip it back. He did get it back to Smith, and now rebound. And the loose ball came right to Schultz. His shot turned away. Schultz picks it up. And Outlaw goes down, chasing him, and now Schultz will throw it way over the head of Fry, and it'll be over and back. Outlaw ball. Now, clock's running here. It shouldn't be. Wells out of the corner, and they need Austin Wells to start playing here. As Porter works it. Cross feed, and that was a nice save by William Horn as Muir was robbed as he broke in backdoor, and now the loose ball bounces out near the top of the dotted, and Rossman grabs it. But he's surrounded by Crude players. He gets taken down. Rossman on the floor, and now a Crude player sent to the floor, and it'll be Crude possession. Bilichuk flips it for Fry. 1:20 to go now, middle frame. Crude continue to lead 5-4. Bennett Fry rolls off of a defender, now up high to Vodchuk. Vodchuk, twister, scores! Josh Vodchuk on definitely a different type of release there. It was almost like a push twister type of release. And almost his stick was basically in front of his body. And he was able to get it back to that far side as he ran down underneath, and the Crude have a 2-goal lead. Loose ball off the draw. It's going to go deep into the Crude zone where Gaudreau is going to be all over Nicapillo, knocks him down as he had picked it up. Loose ball. Outlaws are going to not pay much attention to where the ball is. And could have been interference on the Outlaws, but instead it's going to be 8 seconds on the Crude. And now the Outlaws mishandling it. Didn't really get 9 feet either. Hildebrand over to Lewis. Ball up top, Hildebrand again, in and out of his stick. He grabs it off the floor. Hildebrand in behind the net. Hildebrand is going to send that right into the stick of Nicapillo, and the Crude will call a timeout. So if you're the Outlaws here, you cannot afford to give one up here. It would be a huge momentum drainer, if you will. And the Crude already on a 3-goal run right now, taking a 3-goal lead to the break would be a lot to overcome, especially with the Outlaws struggling a bit offensively. So it's interesting because there's 32.3 seconds on the clock here. The Crude are going to pull the goalie. So any type of turnover can lead to an Outlaw chance on net, obviously. And also, if the clock runs out, let's say that they have a 30 shot clock expiration, the Outlaws would be left with about 2 seconds, 2.3 seconds to try to throw one at the net. So we'll see how the Crude play this. They're going to obviously have to hold on to this for quite some time to avoid an opportunity back the other way. So Vodchuk will start this up for the Crude as we approach the 20-second mark. There you got Fry in behind the net. Now up top, Vodchuk takes it, and that didn't make its way to the net, and then Bowie gets the rebound and scores. As that got a big piece of Willis, but still got in behind him. And that is a tough one to give up if you're the Outlaws. I already talked about it, and it's just not one you can afford. Face-off violation on the Crude, so with 6 seconds and change, the Outlaws are going to get possession. Poulsen is going to have to rip it up the floor here if they want to get a decent shot. He's going to hold on to it and float one in. And that's going to do it for the second period. And after 40 minutes, the score is the St. Albert Crude 7, the Beaumont Outlaws 4. Shots after the second period of play, the Crude 43, the Outlaws 30. And as we go into the final period of game number 3, the Outlaws are going to have to make a comeback. After 40 minutes, it's the Crude 7, the Outlaws 4. And check back with us in just under 10 minutes for third period action. welcome back inside Service Place for period 3 of game number 3. It's the deciding game of the North semifinal. The winner moving on to take on the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels, the 1 seed in the North final, and also booking their tickets into the Larry Bishop Memorial as the 2nd seed out of the North. The Rebels hosting the tournament as Ferretti is going to pick it up and get over center. He's chased by Richardson. Ball in behind Fodchuk. He grabs it off the boards, and that's a massive moving pick there by Ferretti. It'll be outlaw ball. Score update on the out-of-town look. It's the Mountaineers in game number 3 of the South semifinal, leading the Marauders by a score of 5-3. The winner of that series going on to take on the 1-seeded Shamrocks in that division as Hildebrand muscles his way to a loose ball. He brings it back up high. Wells picks it up off the floor on the bounce and rips it from Red Deer into the net past Horn, and unlikely for that to go in, but the Outlaws needed it. It's 7-5. And a loose ball here. Ellis is going to grab it. He's got space. Kai Ellis feeds it down low. Lachlan Muir, and he missed the target on the far side. Although they reset the clock, so maybe Horn got a piece of it. And if so, that's a big save for him, reacting or responding to that weak goal that just went in from Wells. Here's Muir. Swims and throws it away. Into the stick of Schultz. He's going to run to the rag line. Numbers for the Crude. It's cut off late here by the Outlaws as they get out the gate. Ball with Fry. Has his pass knocked down. Porter is going to grab it, and he's going to have to hustle to get over center and away from traffic, and he does. Jesse Porter has Cook in behind everybody, and Cook stopped by Horn on the doorstep. That's a big answer for Horn, as that would have cut the Crude lead down to 1, and then Dzwanka gets just blasted after his opportunity on the net, and now back the other way come the Outlaws. Walker all the way to the dot, and shoots it, and he's stopped by Horn as the teams go back and forth now. Aitken picks up the loose ball. He's going to be momentarily doubled, and there's a late hack from Ferretti. Goes uncalled. Hildebrand steps into one, raises that one high, and now Aitken back over to Hildebrand. Telling you, if the Outlaws come back in this game, Hildebrand's going to have to get going here. I'm not talking about scoring goals. I'm just talking about looking a little sharper here, creating a little bit more. And that shot from way out, handled by Horn. As that's lofted down the floor into the mesh, it'll be outlaw ball. That's something the Outlaws were doing a lot of in the second period, was throwing it away. Crude do some of that there. Really, the difference right now is the Crude have just made a few less mistakes. As Muir steps into one up high, Horn shrugged it off, and now Porter grabs the loose ball. The Outlaws with the reset. Wells into Porter. He was tied up by by Bilichuk, and then a behind the back attempt by Rossman is soaked. Wells goes and collects the loose ball, and he one-hands it forward to Porter. Porter rolls off a check. Porter to the net, and he scores! Jesse Porter makes a great move to get underneath his defender, and we've got a 1-goal game. And folks, just when you think the Outlaws look dead and they're young and they're rebuilding team and this and that, they seem to bounce back. And game 1, it looked like they were coming out and overmatched, down 3-0. They came back in that game, and now down 7-4 coming into the third. Porter with a big answer here, and we've got a game. Now the Outlaws back with it. Poulsen skips up high with it and now goes to Hildebrand. Hildebrand to Aitken. Aitken gets a pick. Ellis now with it. Ellis feeds it. Dangerous pass. Almost picked off. Polson picks it up off the floor. Polson, can he get to the net? He can't. He's going to turn back and fire it. Goes off of an Outlaw and into the corner. It'll be Crude ball here. 16 minutes to go. The Crude 7, the Outlaws 6. Game number 3 of this North semi-final. The winner booking their tickets into the Larry Bishop and moving on to take the Rebels on in the North final. Both of the teams in that series will have places in that tournament. As Fodchuk feeds it inside, and Smith almost gathered it in and had an opportunity on net. And then the ball was left there for Bowie. He couldn't bring it in, and Ballantyne goes over and grabs the loose ball with the shot clock winding down. He has no choice but to just throw it deep into the zone. Back come the Outlaws. It's Walker getting it to Hildebrand. Wells up top. Back to Hildebrand. Pick set there by Wells. Hildebrand shut off up top. Back over to Wells. Wells steps into one, and Horn slides over to make the save. Can Rossman box out? He can't, and the loose ball goes to Dzwanka, who has a marker in this game. Dzwanka chased over center. They don't double properly, and he squeezes through it. Fodchuk now has it from distance. Well, he drags it around his defender, Josh Fodchuk. Big save there by Danny Willis as he stands tall for his team. That was a save the Outlaws needed, having gotten back into this one. To fall back down by 2 pretty quickly would have been tough as Keller gets it back up high. Keller is bothered there by Nicapillo. Keller wants to dish it. He gets it to Wells. Wells, strong side right. Austin Wells pressured there by Bilichuk. Now Wells back over to Aitken from way out. Stepping over was Horn to that far side to make that save. And the ball is picked up and thrown to Elliott. 14-10 to go now, third period. Crude 7, Outlaws 6 in this third and final deciding game. From Service Place here in St. Albert, really the first major lacrosse game played here all season after the Crude had to leave Jerome McGinley. And now it's thrown up to Polson. He's got a partial break. Wyatt Polson stopped by Horn as he was forced to go and shoot from his wrong side. Horn able to get over there and shut it off. 13:40 to go now as the lead continues to be 1 here for the Crude. Sutherland locks off Bowie, and Walker on Fry. Fry now has Sutherland on him. Fry twisted that off the far post and did an excellent job to avoid the crease and get a quality chance at the net, and the ball comes back over center, and Polson will control. Here's Rossman down into the near corner for Lachlan Muir. Muir, Hildebrand looking. He dishes to Lewis. Lewis, now Muir. Muir swings it over to Aitken. Aitken throws that one in on Horn, and Horn makes the save. Nice pass up to Nicapillo, who's going to have to backpedal it out and get it to Fodchuk. That's going to be back over. Well, they don't call it, but it's picked up by Kai Ellis. And Ellis has some trailers with him. He feeds it to Keller. Keller is doubled there by a couple of Crude defenders off the bench. Heavy traffic there, and good defense, and take that chance and possession away. Now up floor, it's almost picked off, and Reich had a chance at it, missed it. Now he goes in after the loose ball, and it bounces into the crease, and then, oh my goodness, the ball just is knocked in by Willis. The ball was just sitting there with nobody around, and he knocked it into his own net, and it's 8-6 for the Crude. An absolutely devastating goal there against for the Outlaws. And the Crude are up 2 here with 11:55 to go.
The time, 7 minutes, 50 seconds, and now we got your 50-50 ticket. This is for $300.
Back to the half wall. Elliott skips in, feeds it wide open. Fry scores. Bennett Fry goes down low on Willis, 9-6. And now the Crude have their 3-goal lead back all of a sudden. And what do the Outlaws have left here as Willis mishandles the ball again? It almost ends up in the net, but then they're going to say that the Crude reached in, so it'll be Outlaw ball. Here's Gaudreau. Gets it low to Lachlan Muir. Muir steps into one, stopped by Horn. On the short side, ball pops loose, and Lemieux doubled in the corner, has the loose ball. It pops loose again, where the Outlaws are going to have another chance at it, and Hildebrand misplays it. But now the ball is missed by Bilichuk, and the Outlaws have it back. Here's Wells. Gets it over to Lewis. That long distance shot stopped by Horn. Austin Wells pressured there. Pick comes in. Now up top to Lewis. Lewis. Outside rip. And that misses the target. Loose ball by Dzwanka. Now the ball is knocked loose. Mishandling it there. Were the Crude, but now Dzwanka saves it and gets it up to Bilichuk. Numbers again for the Crude. Bilichuk. Nicapillo mishandled it. And the ball bounces into the corner. And Nicapillo touched in the crease. Can't be the first to touch it after. Official Tony Reed blows it dead. Outlaws ball. 10-10 to go in game number 3 here. Crude up 9-6. Do the Outlaws have one more punch back left here? We're about to find out as Keller has it on the right side. Noah Keller swings it up high into the stick of Kieran Lewis. Lewis takes it and stopped by Horn. And he absorbs the rebound enough for it to not pop back right back out to Keller, and he sends it up floor now. Into Crude possession. Reich. Now hands it to Fry, who waits up high, and he's going to hand it to Fodchuk. Josh Fodchuk into the offensive zone. Gets it up high. Outside take by Bowie, and that was a hard shot labeled for that far corner, and Willis makes the save. Next goal paramount in this one, folks. One more. It's probably curtains for the Crude over the Outlaws here. And now in front, a no-look pass from Fry. Went right into the stick of, I believe that was Bowie. And a save there, keeping his Outlaws in it. Willis, that shot misses the net. Ball goes right back out. The Outlaws miss it. It's picked up by Aitken. Aitken bothered there. He turns off a check. Aitken feeds it. Richardson winds and fires. That goes off a body. Now Gaudreau is going to pick it up. Jacob Gaudreau threw it down near the net, and Hildebrand almost picked it up and threw it on Horn, but the Crude are going to get away with it. Up, down floor now, Fodchuk. 8:30 to go. Crude 9, Outlaws 6 here. Shots 50-45 in favor of the Crude. Smith having trouble with it. Chased out high. Tyson Smith has 2 defenders on him. He's going to turn it over. And the ball's going to go back. Just saved in time by the Crude. Bowie throws one in the direction of the net. And that'll be our third and final media timeout. I want to thank you for joining us here on CROW LAX TV. Hit subscribe. You'll be notified every time a game goes live. And also hit that thumbs up button. It helps more people see these games and allows the algorithm to get pumped up so our channel can be seen and enjoyed by more people. Also, I want to remind you about Battle of the Border. Battle of the Border takes place in Missoula, Montana this September. Check out the North versus South Box Lacrosse Tournament. Game, I should say, and tour the beautiful University of Montana campus. That's Battle of the Border this September in Missoula, Montana. So the Outlaws in need of one. Go back on offense here. Muir steps into one that got soaked, and Rossman with the rebound off of a body and able to put it past Horn, as Horn unable to get across in time. 9-7. As now an Outlaw is down. I didn't see what happened. I don't know if the officials did either. I don't know if he got contacted or if there was a no contact injury going on there, but he hasn't been moving all that well in this game, and I'm wondering if, I doubt he's 100%. Might have just been a case of him pulling up and having something go in his leg. We'll hope that Austin Wells is all right, and obviously someone the Outlaws need in this comeback. So 9-7 now with 7:55 to go. Can the Outlaws get back into this? Now Ellis is going to fight for a loose ball, and then he takes a late hit on Huckabee. It's going to be Outlaw ball. That was knocked out by the Crude. I think the Crude wanted a penalty there. They're not going to get one. And the Outlaws come back down with possession. On the left side, Polston feeds it. Hildebrand was open for a second. The ball was too low for him. And now the Crew come back up floor. Floated up to an unsuspecting Fry. Ball's picked off by Gaudreau, and he comes up over center. Seven minutes to go now. Hildebrand works his way into the zone. Hildebrand tried to get across the top. He's cut off by Dzwanka. Now swung into the stick of Lewis. Drags it around a defender, Kieran Lewis, and that ball stays out as it hit Horn up high and then fell into his feet. As Lewis made his defender look silly on a big fake. And man, that would have been a big one for the Outlaws if he was able to put it home. But it stays 9-7. And the Crude come back down into the offensive zone. Dzwanka doing a good job to evade some stick checks. Gets it to Josh Fodchuk. Fodchuk races in for a second. Now he takes one from way out and beats Willis. And that's another just can't go in. It's another devastating one there. And with 6 minutes to go, it's going to be tough for the Outlaws now. But they come back in offensively. Rossman cross crease pass, and that ball didn't make its way to the net out of the stick of Lewis. Lewis swings it over to Rossman. They call him a moving pick. And now Ferretti and another, well, the Crude player, I think Schultz, is holding him back as Ferretti tried to go after Porter for a second. The ball goes back the other way. The Outlaws are going to transition out. And I wonder how early they're going to start to go 6-on-5. Down 3 with 5:40 to go. It's got to be pretty quick here. Wells back out on the floor. Gets it to Hildebrand. Now Aitken underneath. Aitken to the net. He crease dives and he scores. Oh my goodness. They call him for being in the crease. And it's a tough one as the ball comes back the other way, and now Keller picks the loose ball up Noah Keller in transition. He's going to pull it out. Well, he's going to turn to the net now, pull it out again. Keller still has it. Up high to Hildebrand. 5 minutes to go now. Marcus Hildebrand, pick set. Swings it into the stick of Aitken. Fed it into a righty. That was Keller. Didn't get to him. Goes into the far corner. 30-second violation. Crude ball. Nick Apillo taking his time here. Gets it to Schultz. And if I'm the Outlaws, I'm taking Willis out of the net the next time I get the ball. Going 6-on-5. You have to. Otherwise, it's too late as the ball gets knocked forward. And it's picked back up by the Crude. Schultz takes a hard hit. No call. As Poulsen goes to the net, and the ball's in the net. And it looks like there's a call coming up.
It's time for an Extreme Threads Power!
To the Outlaws. That's why it's blown dead. And it'll be a cross-checking call.
To number 21, Hudson Cook. 2 minutes for
So they do grab the Outlaws for a penalty there on Schultz, on the hit on Schultz. And it's going to be a Crude power play here with only 4 minutes to go and leading by 3.
Cook, 2 minutes for cross-checking at 50.
Fawchuk. Do not see Liam Elliott on this power play. So the ball is sent back up to Fry. Fawchuk now, left shooter. Back up to Ballantyne, who's playing the top in Elliott's place. Fry, Fawchuk, no look behind the back at the net. Bounces off the floor. Fry mishandles it for a second, picks it back up, rips it over to Fawchuk. Fawchuk off his back foot. And that almost went through Willis again. As the ball goes into the corner. Picked back up by the Crude, and that goes 5-hole. 11-7. So the Crude with a 4-goal lead now, 3.5 to go, and it feels like this one might be out of reach as Wright goes to the net. Stopped by Willis. Outlaws come up floor, and they're waving Willis over now. They'll go 6-on-5 as a Crude stick breaks on a hit. Ball up high with Hildebrand. Aitken back to Hildebrand. Outlaws got to get going here. 4 seconds on the shot clock, and they're not going to even get a quality look here as that ball goes off of a defender. Shot clock expiration. Crude ball with the net empty. Dzwenka scores. So the Crude hammering the nails in late in this game. It's 12-7, and it looks like they're going to be moving on to face the Rebels in the North Final. As Schultz gets pressured deep in the zone. And he's going to peel out. And he gets it to Stenson. Avery Stenson works it into the Outlaw zone, deep into the corner where he's pressured. And he comes back out high with it. And he hands it off to Ballantyne. Ballantyne rips it. And that goes into the Outlaw bench. And that should be Outlaw ball. It will be. And they're going to have possession here with 1:45 to go. Here's Aitken. Hildebrand now with it, sends it down to Muir. Lachlan Muir has it, looks into the middle, and he's going to step back, take an outside rip, and that's a good stop by Horn. As that ball falls out of his stick into the stick of Lewis. Lewis faking, great save by Horn. As he patiently stood with Lewis and held tight up high, didn't give him the top portion of the net, and didn't allow him to put it around him. Now near boards, Dzwanka, who's got a pair of goals in this game, just had the empty netter, and it's picked back up by the Outlaws. Here's Polson, goes deep into Crude's territory, all the way to the net, and stopped by Horn. 50 seconds remaining now. It's a bit academic as the ball goes out near the Crude bench. It's picked up by Fry, who takes a whack there by Booth. He'll go to the box. But I was just about to say, Fry's had an excellent series, and he's been one of the biggest difference makers in it. So the Crude smartly are just going to hold on to this. No reason to go up floor. They've got 30 seconds remaining in this one, up 5. And it looks like game number 3 final is going to be exactly the same as game number 2. As the ball is whipped down low with Smith. Fodchuk. Let's just hold on to this. Throw it over to Fry, who throws it up into the ceiling. And that's about going to do it, folks, as the Crude are going to get a big third game victory here and not only move on to the North Final, but they will punch their ticket into the Larry Bishop Memorial and make their first appearance ever in the tournament as they defeat the Outlaws 2-1 in the North Division semifinal. As I said, the Crude will move on to take on the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels in the North Final. Both teams will have punched their tickets into the Larry Bishop Memorial, and that'll be for North bragging rights as we go in to Thursday night. That series should start Thursday night from Fort Saskatchewan. Stay tuned to all the CROW LAX media channels. That'll all be posted for you. But once again here from St. Albert, it's the Crude 12, the Outlaws 7. The Crude move on to take on the Rebels in the North Final. And above all, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, not only tonight, but throughout the series and throughout these playoffs. We've got plenty of action coming up for you. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and we'll have you locked and loaded moving forward. Once again, from St. Albert, game number 3, the Crude move on and punch their tickets into the Larry Bishop Memorial. 12-7 victors over the Outlaws. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you in a few days.